So that will share the screen here. To do this session for all of us. We are in the section where we have this discussion between Yama Dharmaraja and his Yamadootas. So that we go from this 20th shloka or maybe 19th shloka in the third chapter of sixth canto. And the topic, the major topic is Ajamila story. The story is over. Here we are getting the discussions, messages to the discussions between Yamadharmaraja and the Kinkaras. So in the last session we saw the Kinkaras are asking and how we were not able to bring Ajamila, and they were asking how they've been doing, how they couldn't bring Ajamila, and Yamadharmaraja is explaining what really happened, and he's not worried that they had come empty-handed because he knows the ways of the Lord. So that's what he's been explaining. And he's also now getting to the point where he's saying how this is also very dharmic. It is also totally in line with Dharma that we are seeing from the 19th shloka here. Dharmam dasakshat bhagavat pranitam. Dharmam dasakshat bhagavat pranitam. Navai vidur rishayo napi devaha. Nasiddha mukhya asura manushyaha. Utascha vidya daracharanadayah. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Bhagavan is the pranita, is the rachayita, is the author of dharma. So when someone is the author, they decide how the novel should be. So this, the authors, they make you think in line with how they want to take the story in the forward, move the story forward. So this is why when you see too much of movies, since the authors are ordinary people trying to excite you, trying to make you emotional, so, to gain popularity and publicity, and at the end of the day, the return for the money and all that. So if you unconsciously, you also think in their own way, and you fall for all those traps in the stories and plots in the stories, and you invest your own emotions and for the time you're seeing the movie and all that, right? So that is why you have to be very careful what we are watching and all that. Sometimes some true stories based on some real incidents, they are better. If it is worth watching and all that. So here, for the Dharma, the Saksha, the author is Bhagavan himself. So what is his vision? What is his vivaksha? Nave vidur rishayo napi devaha. Nobody knows. Rishayaha, viduhu, learned men, learned women, rishayaha, rishis, sages, napi devaha. Even the devas won't know. Siddha mukhya, even someone will be very accomplished. Siddhas or those accomplished celestial beings, they won't know. Asuraha, even they not know. Asuras also don't know. Don't think these people are not knowing, then the asuras would know. No. Manushyaha, human beings also are not aware. Utascha vidya daradha. Then what talk about other celestial beings like Vidyadhara, Vidyadhara, Charanadaya, Charanas, all those other celestial beings, but at a different level. Even they won't know. Then he's listing 12 deities who can know what's Bhagavan's Vivaksha. Swayambhur, Narada, Shambhu, Kumar, Kapilo, Manuhu, Prahlado, Janako, Bhishma, Balir, Vyasa, Khir, Vayam. Because if Yamadharmaraja says that nobody is aware, then even he cannot talk any further. So he has to list people who know very clearly what Bhagavan Narayana is up to. So in that list, first is Swayambhuhu, Brahmaji, Narada. 12 deities are listed. Narada, Shambhuhu, Shiva, Kumara, Sanat Kumaras, Kapila, Kapila Rishi, Prahlada, Prahlada, Janaka, Bhishma, Balihi, Vyasakihi. Vyasaki is Vyasas, and Vyam is himself. Who is himself is the Yamadharma Raja. These are the 12 people. Dvadashahite Vijanita Nimaha Dharmam Bhagavatam Bhataha Gukhyam Vishuddham Durbodham Yamnyatva Mritamashmute. The 12 celestials listed above, Vijanimaha, we all know, Dharmam, Bhagavatam Bhata. What is the Lord's Dharma? We know. What is his vision? We know. Mukhyam, it is not easy to know. Vishuddham, it is so biasless. It has no parapaksha. Durbodham, it is not easy to grasp the ways of the Lord. Nyamnyatva, knowing which, amritam ashnute, when you know the ways how the Lord works, then you are one with the Lord. That is what Puja Swamiji says. Appreciate the Lord in the form of all these orders. Then you are also aiming or putting your effort towards how the vision has been grasped by Yama and others listed above. So that is a very fruitful. That is why Puja Swami says keep appreciating the orders in the creation in all these different categories like physical, physiological, psychological. So then you are one with the vision of the Lord. You are not you're not separate from the Lord in that way, right? So let's look at how far it can go. Yetavaneva lokesmin pumsam dharma parasmritah bhakti yogo bhagavati tannama grahanadivihi. Yetavaneva lokesmin pumsam dharma parasmritah. Right? In this world, this is what is the Paramadharma. What is that? Bhakti Yoga Bhagavati. Paramadharma. So, what is the vision? Part of the vision is to appreciate that Paramadharma. The dharma which is superseding all other dharmas is devotion to the Lord. Devotion in the form of studying, understanding, listening, appreciating, sharing about the glories, the ways the Lord works, and do so many different ways. Tannama grahana divihi namagrahan. It includes also namasmaranam. Like what we saw how Ajamila did towards the end of his life. Namasmaranam. Namocharana mahatmyam hare pashyata putrakaha Ajamilopi yenaiva mrityu pashadamuchyata. Namocharana Mahatmyam, the greatness of chanting Bhagavat Nama, Hari's Nama. Pashyata Putrakaha, hey, my dear children, Ajamilaha api, even Ajamilaha. So you saw, for real, you experienced, hey, Yamakinkaras, hey, my dear children, you had been experiencing directly the power of Nama Japa in the form of Ajamila's experience. Mrityu Pashad Amuchyata, it will release how it released from all, even from the clutches of death. Yeta vatala maghanirharanaya pumsam sankirtanam bhagavato gunakarma namnam vikrashya putra maghavan yadajami lopi narayaneti mriyamana iyaya muktim yetavata alam. This is enough. Aganir haranaya pumsam, for the sake of the removal of all the outcomes of papa, all the outcomes of mistakes and errors, what you commit knowingly and unknowingly for entire humanity. This much is enough. What is that? Sankirtanam Bhagavatah Gunakarmanamna. To sing, if you can, take up the name of the Lord. If you can bring Ishvara into your life more and more, appreciate Ishvara, recognize Ishvara, and bring out Ishvara in your thought, in your words, more and more, in terms of his glories, in terms of his stories. Appreciate. Vikrashya putra maghaman yadajamila happy. If this is the final message. If Ajamila can be rescued, what to talk about all of us? Let us all take up to the Bhagavan's, bringing Bhagavan more and more into our lives. Narayaneti Mriyamana Ihaya Muktim. For the sake of mukti, for the sake of freedom from all our omissions and commissions. Taking up to the name. Say, taking up the name, you have to always include what is behind the name in terms of the presence of the Lord. Prayena Veda. So when it says nothing is greater, we have to understand nothing is greater for what? Nothing is greater than when the Nama Japa is so great compared to what? Prayena Veda Tadidam na Mahajanoyam Devya Vimohita Matir Batamaya Yalam Trayam Jati Kritamathir Madhu Pushpitaya Maitanike Mahati Karmani Yujyamanaha. What is behind taking up to the name of the Lord? Mahajanaha, even Mahajana, even Mahatma's Prayena. If you think this is a very mundane thing, taking up to the name of the Lord, what is all going behind that? What all is going behind that? In terms of understanding your capacity, in terms of understanding the practicality of what all you can do, if you are not doing the Nama Japa, what else you'll be doing and all that. That is a kind of a holistic understanding when somebody is taking to Nama Japa. So that kind of a holistic understanding, even Mahajana, great people may not have. Because they don't have this kind of a holistic, let us sit back and think what is more practical, what is more real, what matters really, and all that. And coming to the conclusion that let us take up with this sadhana called Nama Japa. That kind of a conclusion, that kind of an understanding, conviction, even Mahatmas don't have. We saw the story of Narada. How Narada would think that he's the greatest devotee, and Bhagavan Sri Vishnu would take him to a village and they will all both be in disguise. They'll see a farmer and he would only take up the name of the Lord in the morning once, just fold his hands and take, may all my work and everything be an offering to you. And then he goes and comes back. May whatever happened, it's all your prasada like that. Only twice he would do that. So Narada would end up saying that, what is so great about that? Then there'll be a test for Narada, kind of giving him a small cup of oil to hold on his head and go around and all that. And then Bhagavan will ask him how many times he remembered and all that. The story would be told like that just to say that how Bhagavan is great and how Bhagavan recognizes all devotion, all that. But what you can really appreciate based on this shloka also is the practicality. Many people think devotion is something and then they have a utopian idea about what they should be doing in devotion, all that, and then they miss the bus of being in the presence here and now and all that. So the practicality and appreciation, and as I said, the holistic approach, many people don't have. That is what is told here. and they take up to Trayam Jati Krita Matihi. They take up to all those, all the Vedas. They search all the Vedas to see what will really release them from all their papas and all that. And the focus is on getting released from the papas. It is not about appreciating the Lord in and through all that has happened, right? So what happens is once they're released, but they're not released from the Rajas and Tamas. So they have a sense of accomplishment that they used. They scored through the entire text of Prayashitta books and all that, and they finally found out that what they had to do and all that. But that was not really kind of taking them free from releasing them from tamas and rajas, which is filled up in their heart. So that is a problem. Whereas Nama Japa is happening out of it is there's got a background, right? It is happening after so much of appreciation of the Lord's presence and all that, right? So that would definitely be releasing you from Rajas and Tamas here. So that means what? You will be permanently free from Papa. That is a big difference. So Nama Japa is a great sadhana compared to other Prayashitta karma. So we have to be very practical. Some people say don't do anything, don't study Veda, don't study Vedanta and all that, and only take up to Bhagavan's name, and they will also tell you take up to only one name and all that. No. Prayashitta, compared to other Prayashittas, Namam Jabam can be equally efficacious, and it is easier and it is more efficient because it can remove even Rajas and Tamas, the way I've been explaining before. Temena danda maharhantyatha, temena danda marhatyatha, yadyabhisham syat patakam tadapi hantyu rugaya vadaha. So let us see. I'm skipping 2 lines. Let me come use that also. Evam vimarshya sudiyo bhagavat yanante sarvatmana vidadate khalu bhava yogam temene dandamarhantyatha yadyamisham syat patakam dadapi hantyu rugaya vadaha. So Bhagavat, so that in this way, in this manner, so the Bhagavat Ananta means our Narayana, Sarvatmana, Vidadate, Khalu Bhava Yogam. So you are holding on to the Lord's presence, and because of that, you have not just narrow vision, but you have a bhava called Sarvatma Bhava. Means what? You're able to experience Lord in and through all the situations in every people's presence and what they do and what they not do and all that, right? So those kind of people, when they have Sarvatma Bhava, which means what? I'm not different from the other person in terms of, the oneness and all that. They are no more eligible for that kind of punishment, which we have here for people who are committed to sins and all that, right? So that is what Yama is saying. Te deva siddha parigita pakvaghatha pavitraghatha ye sadavas samadrisho bhagavad prapannaha tan nopasidata harir gadaya vigupta naisham vayam nachavaya prabhamadande. We can never hurt, not you. You had come, you feel guilty that you had come empty-handed. My dear Yama Kinkaras, not just you, even I am not, even I won't be able to punish them. Even I won't feel like punishing them. Because they're not only free from their sins, but they're also being praised by all the devatas. Such kind of a glorious personality they are. Tanno pasida harer gadaya bhigupta. Nobody can hurt them because they are protected by the Gada of Hari. So without invisibly, they are under total protection of Hari, as you saw in the case of Ajamila, how the Parshadas came jumping. Tananayadhvamasato vimukhan mukunda padhara vindamakarandara sadajasram Nishkinchanai Paramaham Kulai Rasajnaihi Jushta Grihe Nirayavatmani Baddha Trishnam. Who you can bring, then who can come to the Yamaloka? The Yamapuri, the city of Yama. What is who are the people who have the eligibility or this Yamapuri is meant for? And Vimukhan, Mukunda Vimukhan. So whoever is turning themselves away from the Lord's presence, whoever turning their minds away from appreciating the Lord. So those are the people who will end up here in Yamaloka. That's what Yamadharmaraja is saying. Nishkanchanai Paramahamsa Kulai. So those people who are free from any bias, who are free from, because they are free from bias, because they are able to have that Sarvatma Bhava. They are free from bias because they see Bhagavan's hand in every situation. So they are not going to have any selfish reasons for biased towards what is materially good for them and all that. They are the Paramahamsas, Rasajnaihi. They are the ones who are reveling in the rasa of the Lord's presence. Grihe, then unlike the other people who are only thinking about me and myself and mine in the sense of my house, my people, and all that. So having this kind of a Baddha Drishna, for hankering and longing for their own body, mind, senses, comforts and comforts of people around them, but not thinking any more than that. Any more than that, and I mean, I'm not just talking about, doing more charity and all that. Any more than that means, appreciating the Lord, the presence, recognizing and appreciating or putting effort towards that. So those are the people who will end up getting in the trap of, trap where they will end up in places like Yamapuri. Jihvanavati Bhagavat Gunanama Dheyam Chetascha Smarati Tacharanara Krishnayano Namati Yachira Ekadapi Tananayadva Masato Puta Vishnu Kutyan. So Yama is continuing to say, who all end up coming to the Yamaloka, Jihva, people who don't take the Lord's name even once. So when I said taking Lord's name even once means appreciating the Lord, Narayan, presence of Lord. So who don't take or whose mind is kind of positively staying away from appreciating the greater scheme of things in terms of appreciating the Lord, or whose head doesn't bow in humility, in objectivity of the Lord's presence. It's not about me. My body, mind, senses, everything is given by the Lord. That kind of a respectful attitude who doesn't have. Okay, those are the people who can you'll be easily able to bring them to Yamapuri. Tat kshamyatam sa bhagavan purushah puranah narayanasva purushait yadasat kritam nah swanam aho na vidusham rachitanjalinam shantir gariyasi namah purushaya bhumne. So Lord Ishvara Paramatma Narayana, forgive kshamyatam sah bhagavan, hey Bhagavan, hey that Lord, may you forgive. May that Lord forgive. Purushaha, Puranaha, who is Purushaha, who is the indweller, who is Puranaha, who is the one who is there from the very beginning of time. Narayanaha, Swa, Purushaihi, Yadasat Kritam, Ajasat Kritam Naha. So we who have been, who have been putting effort to do something wrong. So it's not Ajamila who has done anything wrong, but it was our fault. So Lord, please forgive us. Swanam aho na vidusham rachitanjalina. Okay, so my people, Shanti, because Lord, I ask for pardon. I ask for pardon for the sake of my Yamakikaras. Why? Because we deserve another chance And who else can give us another chance than yourself, O Lord? Namaha to you, Purushaya Bhumne Namaha, that Lord whose quality is to forgive. Tasmad Sankirtanam Vishnoho. So now Sukadeva is speaking. Tasmad Sankirtanam Vishnoho Jagan Mangalam Manhasam Mahadamapi Kauravya Vidyaikantika Nishkritim. Therefore, Sankirtanam, taking to the Lord's glories and stories and fames and presence of Vishnu, Jagan Mangala, that is the one who can create a lot of Mangala, Kalyanam, auspiciousness in your life. How, in terms of by auspiciousness by what? Mahadamapi Kauravye Vidyaikantika Nishkritim. So it can remove all sorts of sins. It can be the best prayaschitta compared to either prayaschitta in removing the outcomes or effects of your wrongdoings. Shunvatam Gunatam Viryan Yuddhamani Harer Muhu Yata Sujataya Bhaktya Shuddhen Namna Vrata Dibihi. Dhanatam, take up to the name of the Lord, or listen to the name of the Lord's glories and all that. Have satsanga with people who have an appreciation of the Lord and His glories, virya, viryani. So, of again and again, muhu, because we may think that we are already so devoted and all that, but muhu, again and again, that devotion has to be strengthened by listening to satsanga, like what you're doing right now, regarding the Lord. Yata sujata taya bhaktya. With that kind of a devotion, which a mind which is free from the extreme sense of what is pleasing and displeasing. Shuddhen namna vrata divihi. This is the best cleanser for your body, mind, senses compared to even any other vrata. Krishnangri Padma Madhulin, Krishnangri Padma Madhulin Punarvisri Maya Dinesh Ramate Vajitavadeshvaheshu Anyastu Kamahata Atmaraja Pramarshtu Miheta Karmayata Eva Rajah Punasyat. So, devotion is just summarizing what Yamaraja has already told. Who is summarizing? Sukadeva is summarizing. Krishnangri Padma Madhuling, having experienced the presence of Lord's hand and Lord's direction in terms of Lord's foot, then it is not Maya is not all everything else, all the Maya Shakti in terms of everything else which is material is not going to have an effect on this person. So that way, compared to any other vrata, is explaining, is justifying how taking up the Lord's name is going to be even powerful than all the vrata. Because when you have to doing a vrata, you have a sense of accomplishment, and you have not addressed your basic problem, raga dvesha. You only think that they can remain, and you can always have have a say over them, but they have their own ways of tricking you and trapping you and making you fall. So that way, comparatively, taking the Lord's name has a greater effect. Itham svabhartrugadinam Idham svabhartrugadinam Bhagavan mahitvam samsmritya vismita dhiyo yamaginkaraste naivachyutashraya janam pradishankamana drashtum cha vibhyati tata pravriti smarajan. In this way, in this manner, so bhartrugaditam bhagavat mahitvam, the boss of all the Yama Kinkaras, the boss of all the servants of Yama, who is Sakshat, who is none other than the Yamaraja, Samsmritya Vismita Dhiyo. He kind of, put sense into their minds about what is priority, what is more important, what takes precedence. Na eva achyuta shraya janam pratisankamanaha. Having put some sense into their minds, now these Yamakinkaras are so clear. They have decided they will not even look at forget about going and forcefully bringing them. They will not even think of looking at that side where the devotees of Lord are there. Itihasam imam guhyam Bhagavan Kumbha Sambhava Kathayama Samalaya Asino Harimarchanam. Itihasam, this story, imam guhyam, this is something which is very important, secret, top secret when they say in the classified and all that. They mean what do they mean is it is very significant, very important, very something worth to be given to only people who are eligible, qualified, who are cleared, right? They say you have to have the clearance to look into those documents. Likewise, you all are those who are eligible, so you are all deserving to get this knowledge. Bhagavan Kumbha Sambhavaha, because originally this story which is being shared so commonly, originally Bhagavan Kumbha Sambhavaha is Sakshat Agastya Rishihi, who is in the Malaya Pradesha, South Malayala Desha and all those places. Asinaha, who is always worshipping Hari in the southern part of India. That Agastya Rishi was the one who first shared the story to even Shukadeva, and that story Shukadeva has shared as a part of the Bhagavatam. So it's so secret also because not everyone knows, as we saw, what goes behind somebody desiring to take up to the Lord's name and fame and all that. That kind of an understanding not everyone has. Sometimes for some big problems, the solution can be so simple, not everybody would know. As an example, Swami Akhandanji is giving. There's an example to see how something simple like Namajapa can be so efficacious. This person has got a bubble gum. This kid has got a bubble gum stuck. The kid has got the story where the kid has got a bubble gum stuck. Actually, this is a real story, it looks like. And they are taken to doctors, and there's a surgeon says that he has to operate to remove the bubble gum from wherever it is stuck. Then they were all very worried and all that. Then one old lady, because it was baby, she put her mouth to on the baby's mouth, and then she sucked with so much force. The bubble gum came out of the baby's mouth. So she knew that simple solution. Whereas these doctors and all that, even they didn't know. So likewise, Namajapa can be a simple thing. And that doesn't mean everybody would know. And when I say Namajapa, what goes behind is also, that is how we appreciate Namajapa. That appreciating Namajapa, its practicality, its applicability, and appreciating the power of Lord's name in the form of all the stories and stories. So this is one example which Akhandanji was giving. Likewise, homeopathy is also, if you look at the story of how homeopathy medicines are made, they take a small drop of a tincture means the medicine, they dilute it, and then take another drop from that diluted, part of, fluid. They dilute it further, and then they make the medicine. So sometimes those medicines are more effective than all those other medicines. So likewise, what can be as small can be very significant also. That is the power of the Namajapa. So these are the stories shared by Akhandanji. So I thought I'll also share it with you. And let me see if I miss anything here. So the crux of the whole thing is take up to trust in Namajapa. So the whole point in this whole story is that trust you can bestow, you can invest in taking up the Lord's name in some way or the other, in whichever way you are on a basis, on a daily basis, or a regular basis. So that way, when you take up the names, all your previous papas are all gone. And when you continuously keep taking, you continuously get cleansed of all your, papas in the form of what can, result, the outcome and all that. And you be free like Ajamila here and now. We don't have to wait until the end. Okay. So this is the message. And with this, we will conclude here and we'll continue next week. Hari Om.